Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on the Gooners and Gloves Podcast channel. In today's video, it's going to be the 105th Gooners and Gloves Podcast, and I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts and reactions to Arsenal's game versus Manchester United in the Premier League at Old Trafford. It feels really good to be back with the official match reactions. Obviously, we had the friendlies, but now we're back to competitive action. We're back to the Premier League, and certainly a very eventful return to the Premier League for Arsenal. We did manage to get the win at Old Trafford, which of course is brilliant. But that being said, that scoreline really does not tell the story of what was a game where we had to seriously dig in. It was a very hard game. United had tons of opportunities, tons of chances, and we must say this is why it pays to have a very good defense. This is why it pays to have a great goalkeeper. David Raya with an absolute man of the match performance. He was sensational today and really helped us out in the exact same way that he helped us out at Old Trafford earlier on in the season. Guys, listen, it was always going to be a very tough game, you know. I never for a single second thought this was going to be a demolition or a destruction. Like, I always thought this was going to be a very tight 1-0, 2-1 kind of game, and that's exactly how it turned out, because the truth is, we always struggle at Old Trafford. It doesn't matter what form Arsenal's in or what form Man United is in, we always struggle at Old Trafford. It's a very hard place for us to go, and yeah, United, in terms of the attack, looked fantastic today, looked really threatening. Obviously, Mbumo, Cunha, etc., they all got very advanced, they all looked very good, very attacking. Patrick Dorgu as well. So yeah, from an attacking sense, Manchester United definitely beat us today from an attacking perspective. Obviously, tons of chances created, loads of shots on target. But as mentioned before, this is why it pays to have a world-class defense, and this is why I will never ever complain at the constant investment in the defense. I know it's something that's quite unpopular among our fan base, how much we invest into our defense, but there's no question about it. Days like today prove why it's so good to have not just good, but also important to have a very good defense, because ultimately it's Arsenal's defense that managed to win them that game. Like, as much as of course there were a few, there were some good moments of fortune. For example, when Dorgu hit the post, there were definitely some very good saves from Raya. There were some good clearances from the likes of Gabriel and Saliba. So it wasn't just good luck that prevented us from scoring, it was also defending. Yes, there was some luck, no questions about that, I can't deny that, but at the same time there was certainly a lot of moments of very good defending which ultimately managed to win us the game. In terms of the goal, it was scored by Ricardo Calafiori. Great to see him on the score sheet again. I did say in the previous video for the Athletic Bilbao game just how good Ricardo Calafiori is, and seriously, he's just so fantastic for us. Links up play brilliantly, and of course is very attacking, scores another goal for us. So it's a corner from Declan Rice, which is well taken, and then Bayern Deer doesn't quite get the clearance on it, and Calafiori is in a good position to tap it in with his head. Obviously a very simple finish for Calafiori, but at the same time he did manage to get himself into a good position, which is great to see. We know that Calafiori is such a great defender. Like, this guy, in my opinion, really doesn't get the credit that he deserves. Like, he's sensational, man. He's such a good, he's arguably one of the best signings that Mikel Arteta has made for Arsenal. His link-up play, his defending, his forward pressing, just everything. He makes that left-hand side his own. He just makes that left-hand side tick. Seriously, like, everything goes through him, and he seriously just makes that left-hand side tick, and ultimately has attacking threat in him, as we saw. So really good to open the scoring early at Old Trafford, especially because already you could tell we were a bit nervous at that point, but it was good to just get the goal in the 13th minute, kind of settle some of those nerves a little bit. Obviously, as you can see, as you guys know, there was still a lot of nerves because obviously we would go on to concede a lot of chances, but ultimately speaking, it was just one of those games where we obviously had to just lock in. It was a hard game. I mean, as I said, going to Old Trafford on the first day was never going to be easy, and this is exactly why I never for a second said this was going to be a demolition against United. My prediction was literally either 1-0 or 2-1 Arsenal, because I knew it was going to be a very tight game, very close, because that's just how it always is. That's how it always is. Arsenal really struggles to play at Old Trafford. It's not an easy place to go. So the fact that Arsenal were able to go there and get the win, even despite the dominance from United, is a very good feeling. And it's also just really good for the squad. I mean, like, I feel like the squad needed a sort of a moment like this, just a moment of loads of adversity where the game is just really hard. They're creating tons of chances and it's just really difficult. But the fact that Arsenal were able to just lock in, kind of put their heads down, really grind this one out and get the 1-0 win, I think is huge for the confidence as well. It's huge for the mentality. Obviously, one thing that we struggled with is to see the result out in these very difficult games, last season and the season before. So the fact that this time we were like, you know what, no, we're finding this hard, this is really difficult, but we didn't feel sorry for ourselves. We just locked in, defended, obviously had to call on Raya multiple times. David Raya, I mean, I've run out of words to describe how absolutely sensational David Raya is as a goalkeeper. One of the best goalkeepers in the world, arguably the best in the Premier League. Like, he's world class. I mean, David Raya is absolutely world class, and David Raya is someone else who is among the best signings that Mikel Arteta ever made for Arsenal, because he is ridiculously ridiculously good. For the second straight game at Old Trafford, he played a massive part in us getting the victory. I mean, seriously, his contribution today was immeasurable. I mean, the man of the match by a mile. And obviously, I know it's never a good sign when your man of the match is your goalkeeper, but that's the truth of it. David Raya just made so many great saves. He deserves to be man of the match. Obviously, as I said, I have to give credit to Manchester United. Their attacking threat today was very, very good. Like, that attack is certainly going to be very scary in the Premier League to come. You had Cunha, you had Mbeumo, you had Bruno creating good chances. Even Sesko, when he came on, had some opportunities, and he isn't even at full fitness yet. So I do have to give credit to Man United. Their attack is absolutely sensational. They've really, really strengthened that. Defensively, of course, they do still leave a lot to be desired, although we did only manage to get a goal, which was from a set piece. But generally, I would say their defense isn't the best. However, there's no denying that attack is absolutely brilliant. I mean, Cunha and Mbeumo looked electric today. At one point, Cunha literally ran through our whole defense, and I did not like that, the way that we just let Cunha run through. Thankfully, the shot that he got off was really weak, so therefore David Raya was able to save it easily, but I did not like the way that Cunha managed to skin like 3 or 4 of our defenders. That's not good to see at all. But yeah, fair play to Man United on the attacking perspective. There's no doubt about it. Their attack is fantastic. Cunha, Mbeumo, Bruno. Obviously, you have Benjamin Sesko, who isn't even at full fitness yet, but still had some good chances today. So fair play to them. Obviously, in terms of some of the new signings, Gyökeres obviously didn't have a great game just because ultimately there just wasn't many chances. I mean, we only got 3 shots on target. So to be fair, I can't blame Gyökeres too highly. Obviously, some of it is on him as well. But to be fair, as I said, our wingers today just didn't really do much. Like, obviously, no, but it was just one of those games where we just had few chances. We only had 3 shots on target. We only had about 7 shots overall. So it was just one of those games where it was very much defend, try and attack whenever you can. But yeah, Manchester United were just all over us in terms of attack. 22 shots, 7 on target. Like, they were just super attacking. So for that reason, we just didn't get many opportunities. So hopefully now against Leeds United at home, he can maybe get a goal, get some confidence. Hopefully, I feel like as much as obviously we won today, which is fantastic, and we kept a clean sheet, I feel like we kind of need a bit of a confidence boosting performance. Like, for example, how Spurs had against Burnley where they beat them 3-0. Hopefully we can have that kind of a performance against Leeds and try and up our confidence a bit, because yeah, today we faced a lot of shots, we faced a lot of opposition, but at the same time we managed to walk away with a victory, which I think is just absolutely massive for our mentality, and I think it's really going to help the squad's mentality. They've been able to prove to themselves that in a game where they're getting outclassed, they're getting outfought essentially, they can dig in, they can grind it out, and they can get the win, and that's what we managed today. 3 points on the board, a clean sheet. I feel like, as much, given the circumstances, it's a really good result, and we should be happy. I mean, either way we should be happy, because ultimately, as I said, Old Trafford is just always a very hard place for us to go. It always has been, it always will be. It's just one of those places where even when we win very, very kind of very scrappily, like we did today. Even when we win, we don't win in dominance. Like, it's just a hard place for us to go. I mean, literally the last 3 times we won there, I think it was literally 1-0 wins. Obviously, you had the 2020, you had the lockdown win from the Aubameyang penalty. You had the 23-24 win from Leandro Trossard where he scored 1-0, and then obviously you had today. So that's just the truth of it. Even when we win there, we win there. I mean, literally all of our wins at Old Trafford under Mikel Arteta have been 1-0 wins. So it's just a very hard place for us to go. But super happy to get the victory. Super happy to be back. Obviously 3 points on the board. End of the day, you can't really ask for much more than that, especially given the circumstances and how hard of a game it was. Obviously Ricardo Calafiori and Declan Rice combined for the goal, which was good to see. Aside from that, Martin Odegaard I thought had a solid game, created some good opportunities, linked up play well in midfield, so it's nice to see Martin Odegaard getting back to his best. Zubimendi put in some decent contributions as well. Noni Madueke came on for a bit, and he had some moments of liveliness, but again, just in general, the wingers today just struggled. Saka, Martinelli, Madueke, like, that was just one of those games where the wingers kind of struggled. Man United just created loads of chances, but ultimately we got the job done, we got the victory. Fair play to Man United for their attack. Their attack is certainly very, very good, and I think will be one of, will definitely be among the scariest attacks in the league. But ultimately, Arsenal do have statistically the best defense in the league, and I think they did prove that today. End of the day, this is why I will never ever get angry at Arsenal for constantly investing in the defense. For me, it's always defense before offense, and I think today really just kind of encapsulates why that's the case. As you can see, Man United created tons of chances, they created tons of opportunities, but ultimately you only need one to win in football, and as long as you can defend out the result, then you get the victory, and that's what Arsenal managed to do successfully today. But anyway, that's kind of all I've really got to say. Just one of those games where we were dominated, we were, outplayed for large chunks of it, but we were able to show the resilience, show the mentality, and ultimately just grind it out, really just put our heads down, grind it out, and get the 3 points. And that's what we did today. So I'm really, really happy about that. Shout out to Arsenal for the victory. Obviously, I do hope for a much improved performance against Leeds. Obviously, hopefully now against Leeds at home, we can sort of get a bit more of a dominant victory and really start to up our confidence a bit, especially because, again, we've got some very hard fixtures coming up in this fixture run. So I feel like that Leeds home game is going to be an important one to try and kind of just build the confidence up, try and get a few goals past them, and hopefully build the confidence up. But yeah, massive win. Really, really happy with this. Obviously, to United fans, fair play on your attack. You guys did play really well. But ultimately, this isn't the first time between Arsenal and Man United that one team had loads of chances. Remember, this did happen in the FA Cup. Obviously, the FA Cup game, we had tons of chances against Man United. So it just kind of goes and comes in football. It just, end of the day, sometimes it happens to you, sometimes it doesn't. And obviously, I'm happy that today Arsenal were on the positive end of it. But of course, there were many times, many times last season where other teams were on the positive end of it against Arsenal. So it feels good to be on the good end of it for once. But anyway, that's all I've got to say for the game. Thank you guys so much for listening. It feels really good to be back with the Arsenal match reactions, and I'm really looking forward to doing many to come. Obviously, we got Leeds at home next week, so I'll be making a video about that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great day. Please let me know down below what you thought of the game as both an Arsenal and Manchester United fan. What did you guys think of the game? And ultimately, where do you think both teams go on from here? How do you think both teams will finish? But yeah, goal from Calafiori, assist from Rice, a very, very dominant performance from Man United, but a very good defensive display from Arsenal, very good defending from Raya, and ultimately that was able to get us the 3 points in a very, very hard game. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great day. Please let me know down below what you thought of the Arsenal Man United game and what you think of both teams, and I'll catch you guys at another podcast soon. Bye bye.